This video will explain a few hidden features of the Vauxhall Mokka X, but also it applies to the Vauxhall Mokka from 2012 onwards, really. Hidden features is a bit of a contentious word to use simply because they're not truly hidden in the sense that Vauxhall don't want you to know they're there. They are part of the car and you are supposed to use them. However, the only way of you knowing they're there is either you've driven Vauxhalls for years and you already know these features exist, or you've read through the manual from the first page right through to the end to find every possible thing the car can do. Without further ado, we'll go on to the first one. To turn the parking lights on, you take the key out of the ignition once you've parked up, and then you just switch the indicator stalk to the side that you want the parking lights on. So I've just indicated right, and you can see that the parking light is switched on the right. If I indicate left, you'll now see that the indicator light is on solidly on the left. Another useful feature that the Mokka has is something called path lighting, which turns the lights on and lights your way home when you park up. To turn on path lighting, you take the key out of the ignition, open the driver's door, and then if you pull on the stalk as if you're going to flash your headlights, you'll see that the lights come on, the green indicator for side lights comes on. You see that the headlights are on the car. They'll stay on for maybe a minute or so and then go off, so they're not going to stay on overnight or anything. A potentially quite handy feature, and that's if you hold down the unlock button on the key fob, the windows drop, and the same again if you hold down the lock button, you'll close all the windows. Now that can be quite useful if you've walked away from the car and realised that your window's still open. You can shut them by holding down the lock button, or if it's a particularly hot day and you need to cool the car down quickly before you get in, then yeah, you can hold down the unlock button to open the windows, and if you let go halfway down, then they'll start halfway. So, useful feature. Oh, and if the remote window operation doesn't work, just make sure that it's switched on in the settings. There's a button to turn off the traction control, which is on the centre of the dashboard, and it's quite obvious. You press it and off goes the traction control. But if you hold down that button for 5 seconds, it also turns off the ESC, which is electronic stability control. You basically want to do that if you find that your car can't move because of snow or ice, and the stability control and traction control are cutting in and stopping the car from moving. You'll want to hold that button down for 5 seconds and turn off the ESC. It's otherwise not particularly recommended to do so, as it's quite a useful safety feature. So when you fold the rear seats down, like so, the seatbelt can end up getting in the way of your planks of wood that you're getting from B&Q. So if you look here, there's like a little clip where you can slot the seatbelt through, keep it out of the way. There's one more feature to come at the end, but this is just a quick message to say, click up here if you want to see a full review of this particular Vauxhall Mokka X. Thank you very much for watching. One called Personalisation by Driver is an interesting one. You need to turn it on in the settings, so it's there for you to see, but it's not obvious what that does. And if it's on, what it means is that when you use your key, if you've got two keys, basically depending on which key you use, it will save the current settings to that key. So if you get in with one key, change all the settings in the car, the next time you get in with that key, it will go back to those settings. If you do it with the other key and change all the settings, then when you get back in the car with that key, then it'll go to the settings that it was saved with that key. So useful if you've got someone else driving the car.